Ladies and gentlemen, Deadheads, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today I'm bringing you another triple reaction. This time we're going to be checking out the songs That's Alright, Not Fade Away, and Going Down the Road Feeling Bad. And these songs are all from the same RFK Stadium performance back in June 10th, 1973. I love the fact that all of these are from the same show. It gives us a good idea of how they were feeling and sounding on the day, rather than having disconnected Grateful Dead songs, which isn't a problem itself because we still get to listen to more Grateful Dead across eras, but there's also an immense amount of value in hearing the songs from the same show, being closer to the original experience itself. So I'm not sure how many of you guys attended this show, but hopefully we'll get a chance to relive some of those experiences together. And today, that is all thanks to Jeffrey the Ambient for making this request. As always, Jeffrey, thank you so much for the donation and the selections today. It means the world to me and helps guide the direction for the reactions I do over here. With that said, let's jump into it. You can sort of make out some of the audience sounds. So this will be a new song for us. They have Jerry turned down a lot here relative to the music. Oh, there we go. Bright melody in the left headphone. I believe we also have Dickie Betts rather, from Allman Brothers. There's so much looseness to this performance. At least that's the feeling, though it's very very tight. I don't know if that makes sense. bass here. All the while we have this that kind of melody, and it repeats, and it's been repeating at very consistent intervals, but there was a moment where it sort of dropped out and we had a melodic development, and then we brought it back. So I just love the constant structural recentering. And I kind of thought about this the other day as it relates to Grateful Dead, but when you think of like song structure, you know, the typical intro, verse, pre-chorus, chorus looped until you end with a bridge and then chorus and outro, right? That style, that is structurally like being applied to every single instrument. Another like way to describe and kind of conceptualize the Grateful Dead is the structures of each instrument may have some consistency about them. There may be some repetition in one of the musical layers throughout the track, and sometimes at different moments they coincide with the other structures from the different instruments at play as well. So you really do have to kind of view them independently if you're going to understand how to like play the part, for example. But what makes them even more complex than having these like several independent structures is the fact that it's all, I mean, not all, a lot of it is improvised in the other layers. So you have structure to 5 out of 6 of the layers, and 1 of the 6 is doing its own thing at that moment and taking, you know, their 8 bars, for example, and then handing it off. Maybe there's a better way to describe that. In like research, there's an idea of like counterbalancing. Maybe this is some kind of like musical counterbalancing of instrument structure. I'm not a musicologist or theorist. I'm just figuring this stuff out together. The improv part is able to go. Everything else, its structure is consistent, but then it shifts. And, yep, there's a shift here. So maybe a different way to describe it is there's this like structure improv slider that each of the instruments at any given moment can kind of change. So if the lead guitar is pulled up all the way on improv, then it's likely that most of the other instruments are pulled up on the structure side and the consistency side, we can say, but it doesn't have to be completely dichotomous. It can be, there's levels to this, and it can be evolving. I mean, it's like you're, you know, trying to like shoot a moving target from a moving platform, right? There's so many levels to these dynamics. And you're experiencing time dilation. Ooh, I like that rhythm in the melody. Definitely very Allman Brothers. Hear the little flittering notes underneath. Also, a good way to think about the Grateful Dead and their melodies is to find within the section that you're listening to the root note that is continually returned to. In different songs, you'll kind of refer to this as like a droning note that is being persistently played, whether it's above and everybody returns to that higher root note, or if it's below and it's underneath. Like, for example, if you're playing in drop C, like if you're listening to System of a Down as maybe a better example, even more precise, oftentimes they won't even be playing the song at all without this like bottom C note that persists throughout the entirety of the track. Usually they incorporate that and have other pitches being played by other instruments throughout, but that bottoming note gives you a springboard to kind of jump off of, but then return anyway, so that whatever that frequency is, it establishes part of the feel of that section. If you find those notes throughout the dynamics of the Grateful Dead, it can also be a good way to, I guess, better comprehend what you're hearing. Because as we know, the river of notes that is Grateful Dead, it can become hard at times to figure out where is home, where is your tonal center. So looking for that persistent, consistent frequency is a good way to do it. Because then everything is relative to that droning note. Yeah. You can also do this with the structure and improv. Compare the improv section relative to the structure. It's a tool for comprehension. That's super pretty. This may lead right into Not Fade Away, so I won't spend too much time talking here. But I think another way I thought of the structure, the improv, the droning note, all of these kind of higher level concepts abstracted a little bit away from the music itself is in science you have this idea of holding things constant to then view the incremental effect of the variable you want to change and see how that change may impact the results. So for example, if you were to run like an experiment on an entire school and all the kids, and half of the students, they're all taking art classes, the other half of the students, they're taking 0 art classes, and you compare the outcomes with all else equal. That is like the operative kind of phrase there, all else equal. They're still taking the math classes, they're still taking the science classes, but do their outcomes change because they're not taking anything in art versus another cohort that are taking art classes? So if you apply this idea of all else equal to all else, what did I just say? Basically holding things constant, all else equal, if you apply it to, let's say, all of the layers in the Grateful Dead, then if you leave everything all else equal, the melody, the structure, but change the vocals, then your attention goes there and you can understand, at least relative to that structure, what feels different about it. But the thing is, it's never a perfect scientific experiment with Grateful Dead, which is why you have that sliding scale of structure and improv, of dynamics or monotonicity, and it becomes really hard to then do the real experiment that you would like to do. But that's the beauty of Grateful Dead, is that they lean into these complexities and make their music not scientific in that way. They just make it a fun jam, and I think more musicians, more bands in general, should go down these routes instead of like overly producing the songs that they have, maintaining rigid structure. See what happens when you just jam along to the song and loosen up the structure in the studio. Could you create something slightly more interesting? Maybe it could be just one section that you do this in. Run that experiment and see how things go. But anyways, I hope I didn't confuse y'all with my various thoughts here. I'm doing my best to try to articulate those in the real time that we are doing it. Let's jump into Not Fade Away. The song will never get old. This may be the 3rd or 4th time we've listened to Not Fade Away on the channel. Dun, dun. Listen to that structure, that overarching. And vocal block, then back to the guitar riff, dun, dun. Vocal, then the guitar, and the improv on the bass. Get the riffing in the left, get the lead in the right. It's a cool, like, effect there. It's very infrequent though, that effect. It's like a kind of V sound. Going to Colorado pretty soon. Going on some hikes. I'm gonna get my friends on a Grateful Dead. They're gonna be stuck in the mountains with me. I'll use the pliability of the mountain air to work on it. Throughout this whole song, if you just like da 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 boom bum bum, those two notes, that dun dun, you'll hear it throughout everything. Despite how subtle it is in some moments, it always is there. And then even my brain, even if it's not there, it imprints it onto that part of the rhythm. Hear the modification in the left guitar rhythm. And the rhythm in the hi-hat is the places where we're having these accents. Again, it's this interesting, like, referential feel from the structure of the rhythm in the guitar to that drum. It's almost like the drums are not doing the structure here, they're doing the counterpoint. be honest, the bass is providing so much of the structure of this song, along with the guitar. I love the handoff, the back and forth. In different places, right? They're pulling it back. What a different look to this song too, by the way. This is almost like the least not fade away I've heard. Oh, the harmony. One thing's for sure, like, when you listen to this, all of your anxieties or whatever, they fade away. Oh, that was kind of abrupt there. Let's see if it leads right into going down. Yeah, perfect. See, you never know when these transitions happen. It's so subtle. Going down. The road feeling bad. This definitely is a new one. New one for me, not for you. You've probably heard this song 45 times in your life. Or 46, one of those two.
wanna be treated this way. Going where the water tastes like
The water tastes like wine.
where the water tastes like wine. Where the water tastes like wine.
You're that parched that the water is wine.
Be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad, bad.
I feel like I can subtly hear Donna, but I'm not actually sure if she's in this. The bass is keeping me centered here. And the consistent rhythm as well. What is happening in the right headphone here? It's almost like natural harmonics, but it almost feels like the note isn't being perfectly like strummed. Like when you're playing it on a slant and you don't get the full sound of the string when you play. How many of you guys are musicians? Or just listeners? Leave it in the comments. I'm trying to see something.
Going where the climate suits my clothes. Where the climate suits my clothes. Where the climate suits my clothes. Oh my, don't wanna be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad.
There's a lot of repetition in the lyrics.
Don't wanna be treated this way.
If you want to talk about structure, the lyrics are structured rather simply, with big gaps between the lyrics too. I love the delay feel in the notes. And I haven't even talked about the keys in this, but I'm feeling now a lot of melody coming from there. Oh, and against the keys, this guitar. Unreal.
Going down the road, feeling bad.
Yeah, pull it back again.
Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad, bad. Don't wanna be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad, bad. Don't wanna be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad, bad. Wanna be treated this way. Going down the road, feeling bad.
Oh, I like this. Oh, yeah.
Feeling bad. Going down the road, feeling bad, bad. Wanna be treated this way.
Ooh. Oh, this is nice. This is real nice. I didn't know I needed this moment, but I like this right here. Because from here you could go a number of ways. You could end the song, you could build it back to an even higher high. It's like sections like this that really are charming. Oh. The slide. Oh, these subtle bends up and down. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh man, I like it. There's so much that we discussed just about music at a very high level, but I think where I'm landing right now, just like in this moment in the morning, I love the sections in these songs that are a little bit more relaxed, a little bit less busy. Um, I don't know, maybe it's just in the dynamics, because when it is subtle and it is quiet and we're having to almost like search for the notes as we're listening, because when you're listening to music, I think, and if you're doing this in a very active way, oftentimes like I am searching for the notes. I'm like, what is to come, without even realizing that I'm doing this subconsciously. Though I'm like actively listening too, there's that feeling of, wow, it's silent now, it's a little bit more quiet. What are they up to? What are they planning? Is there something more on the horizon? And that anticipatory feeling oftentimes can come in those quieter places, because when the notes are already being thrown at you and there's a lot of loudness, there's a lot of dynamics to what we're hearing, then you don't necessarily have that feeling of what's more to come. But the thing is, you can also put that same logic in reverse and say, well, if the entire song was subtle to begin with, then you wouldn't feel the anticipatory feeling, because everything that you're hearing is what you're used to. And then the moment of dynamics, of loudness, would be that, oh my God, what this imbalance in feeling, and now the perspective is flipped, and then I wait again for when the song becomes quieter. It all depends on how you view music and how you feel a certain song as you're listening to it. I'm very curious if you could, I asked you to leave a few comments at this point, and if you're still sticking around, maybe just leave one for the algorithm if you haven't already. But a comment I'd be interested to hear and read is about y'all's first experiences with Grateful Dead and their sound. It doesn't have to be literally the first experience, but in your first, let's call it, year of listening to them, how did your brain adapt to their work? How did you feel as you were listening? What different frameworks did you use, if any, to guide your listening? Because at the end of it, I have all of these like analytical thoughts about how I listen, but at the end of the day, I just take it as I'm experiencing it, and I then try to reframe how I feel about it in a more, let's say, digestible way to communicate how I think my brain feels about the music. I know I get this comment sometimes like, Sohum, you're spending too much time thinking about the music rather than feeling it. Maybe this is a fair comment in some moments, but I think I'm a very analytical person, and the way I can communicate how I hear something, even if I'm hearing it emotionally, is through a sort of analytical framing. I love phenomena in general, so being able to like identify and correctly label something is great fun to me, but that's kind of the double-edged sword, if you will, of the Grateful Dead. They are unlabelable most often. So this is a fun triple reaction for me today. I hope y'all enjoyed it. If you did and want to request Grateful Dead yourself, you can do so by clicking the first link in the description box below. That's the best way to support my channel. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.